and gentlemen, our program will be beginning momentarily, so we'd like to encourage all of you to take your seats. And while we would like to encourage you to keep your cell phones out for taking photographs and videos and tweeting and posting them on social media, please silence them so that we can all enjoy the program. We'll begin in just a few moments. Thank you.
So, she's on her way down, running a little time. So what they had indicated to me is when the music starts playing, that's the key to start. Since I already made my announcement, I will simply walk up on stage and then look up at the screen like when I said, and start playing the video. Does that make sense? Okay. I won't say anything. I'll walk up on stage. I guess they said they were going to start playing some music. I don't know. So, all right. Tell you what, I will play on the stage. And when they give me an off on the video, I will play.
morning, Senator.
How are you?
Excited today?
How could I not be excited?
This is a great occasion. Toni is the one for the job, and we get wisdom, compassion, experience, and determination, because that's what we need. And I think we're looking forward. With her now as the leader, I might want to find a way to stay around a little longer.
You're an incredible group of women. If you really dig deep and you think about every individual in this room today, we have relationships. And those relationships have really fueled what we do here in California. We make policies that change people's lives. And we do it from a perspective that comes from the fact that we're women. And, you know, with that power, there is really nothing that we can't do together. Thank you for giving me this day. Thank you so much. But really, you know, it really is us, and tomorrow we get to work. Thank you.
When I think of Toni Atkins, I think of warmth.
She's passionate about what she does.
We think of Toni, you smile.
She is a friend.
Somebody who gives her all.
Dedicated.
She is so thoughtful. She's the real thing. She's the real article.
Wow, she's wicked smart. Can I say badass?
Colleagues, Senate President Pro Tempore-elect Toni Atkins and her spouse Jennifer Lassar.
This is a really important day. It's an important day for Toni. It's an important day for San Diego. It's an important day for California.
The first LGBT community member to lead the California State Senate.
Today, Toni's name really does go into the history books, and it will be there forever, and it actually matters a lot.
And at this moment in history, for both the state and the things that are going on here and what's going on in the country, having somebody with her empathy and her general human goodness is what's needed in California right now. It's needed in this country, and I think that's going to be a positive sign for California going forward.
You know, you almost want to think that this is a culmination, becoming President Pro Tempore of the Senate. But I don't agree. I think it's just another step on her rise of political service. And she doesn't do it just to get to the next rung for herself, for her title. She does it because she wants to help more people.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties upon which I am about to enter.
The duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
The 48th President Pro Tem of the California State Senate.
Now, I know there's a lot of important people with really impressive sounding titles in this room, and I'm truly humbled by your presence here today. But to me, the title most of us share is the most impressive of all, and that's Californian. And that's a title that means more today than ever before.
Toni is exactly the person that everybody sees. She's warm. She's passionate about what she does. She's very open and accessible.
One of the things I love about her is even as important as she is and was at the time that we worked together, she would oftentimes take time out of her day to ask me how things were going in my life. How was my son's baseball game? How is my daughter feeling? You know, how are things going for my wife at work? Just things that you don't see normally with somebody that has so much on their plate.
She really connects with people. I think we all think we're her best friends. I'm like, we're not all her best friends. Maybe I'm not her best friend for sure, but when you're with her, you feel like she is 100% present and you are just really what matters in her world.
Toni is down to earth and friendly, but she is, as evidenced by her career, she gets things done. She's very, very serious when it comes to accomplishing things, especially if it's helped other people. You can tell her heart's in it.
Now, to be honest with you, I came to the Senate to make progress, not history. But if I'm touching any part of the sky today, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of couriers of courage, individuals who refuse to accept closed doors, hidden closets, or glass ceilings. They weren't waiting, they were working, marching in the streets, battling in courtrooms, speaking out, and stepping up.
As a leader, Toni has that really incredible combination of head and heart, and that allows her to be strong and strategic, but to do it in a way that is inclusive and empathetic and is able to bring everyone around her for a positive result.
We must ensure that every person living in California, no matter how they look or who they love or where their parents were born, can climb life's ladder, live out loud, and be whoever they want to be. Diversity is our destiny. Inclusion, a reflection of our character. But it's not just about who we are, it's about what we can do together.
She's serving a district, the 39th district, that often has not had a person who has been able to walk in and out of the African American communities and churches with comfort. She does. You know, she understands all those communities because she came out of those communities as a child. And so as a result, she's just as comfortable as chatting with folks in La Jolla about issues as she is chatting with folks on Imperial Avenue.
I'm willing to work with anyone willing to shake off the shackles of zero-sum thinking and put some big ideas on the table for the people of California.
She leads with grace and smarts, but she's also always thinking about who's missing from this conversation. Who do we need? And if they're not there, she's usually the first to bring up their issues. And so I feel like you have the best advocate in moving this state forward.
During those days, you know, we were on opposite ends of the political spectrum, but yet she was somebody where we could come together, we could collaborate, whether it was a park, whether it was a social justice issue, things that even my own party at the time would be upset at me about, but it was all about working together. And she could see my point of view, I could see her point of view, and unlike a lot of things we have in politics today, we were able to get things done where you just don't see that happening as much as you would like.
She really believes that the best decisions, the best outcomes happen when great minds get together and think together and agree together.
We are all Californians. We all represent Californians. And like California itself, we succeed or we fail together.
Not everybody has the ability to work with all folks across all interests and issues, etc. And I think she has the ability to find humanity in whoever she's talking with, and the ability to be present and connect human to human to say, we may feel differently about certain issues, but let's figure out what we need to do in order to get from here to there to better the lives of our constituents in California.
We owe it to our constituents and everyone who works in and around this building to turn the page and write our own narrative. After all, isn't that the promise of California? Where people can dream big dreams and make them real. Where people can be whoever they want to be. Where the daughter of a poor Virginia coal miner can succeed the son of a Mexican housekeeper as leader of the state Senate. And that is the California that I love, and that's a promise that I intend to keep. So I want to thank you all for listening today. And now let's get back to work. Thank you.
Sweetheart, I'm so proud of you, and I love you, and I'm excited for our future.
Toni, my sister, congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
We're so incredibly proud of you.
You're going to be great for all of California.
Continue to do what you've always done, and that's lead with your heart.
It is a pleasure and an honor to be your friend.
You did it!
You are my Wonder Woman.
We're just so darn excited for you.
So excited to see what you've accomplished and where you're going.
We love you so much, and we are so excited.
California is going to be stronger and better because of you.
We know that we're in a great place, and we're moving and we're going someplace because of you. Congratulations.
Wow. I was right. Quite a video, quite a room full of folks. My name is Mark Cafferty. I am beyond honored to be here. I kind of think of you as my best friend too, Toni. I think that was a great statement in the video. But in this room today, just one of many fans and one of many supporters and one of many friends of the woman we're here to honor today. And as we get started, you're going to hear a lot of firsts and a lot of milestones from the different speakers who will come up today as we think about what today represents. But from a historical perspective, you'd have to go back 150 years in this state to find another Californian who has led our assembly and led our Senate. 150 years. Absolutely. Think of how much California in this country, in this world have changed in 150 years, and think of what that statement means in terms of the character and the accomplishments of the person we're here to celebrate today. And to open things, it's my honor to call Senior Pastor Dan Koshel of the Metropolitan Community Church to the stage to lead us in the invocation. Pastor?
Thank you, Mark. Madam Pro Tem, as you're comfortable, join me in prayer. God of our many understandings, on this exciting day in the great state of California, in America's finest city, we thank you for our many blessings. We are grateful to be part of such a fabulous and diverse community. Thank you for the reason we're here this afternoon, to celebrate this historic occasion of our new President Pro Tem of the California State Senate, Toni G. Atkins. We give you thanks for her and the many gifts she brings, and pray you would give her continued wisdom and discernment in every facet of her leadership. Give her patience and perseverance as she leads in the midst of conflicting thoughts and varied opinions. And give her safety and protection as she boldly strategizes, speaks out for those who have been underrepresented, marginalized, or invisible, and as she travels many, many miles. Give her strength to find family time, and yes, privacy in the midst of so many demands and a schedule that takes on a life of its own. And give her peace and joy that come from a quiet heart, rooted and grounded in knowing where she came from, the rainbow of communities she represents and loves, and also where she's going. May all who see and hear our President Pro Tem be inspired and moved to be better citizens. Bless, I pray, this special day of celebration, and bless Madam Pro Tem Toni in all of the varied roles she represents to so many people in this room and far beyond. Amen.
Now I'd like to ask if everyone would please rise as Girl Scout Troop 4069, part of the Girl Scouts San Diego's Mission Trail Service Unit, presents the colors and leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Color Guard, attention. Audience, attention. Color Guard, advance. Color Guard, present your colors. Color Guard, honor your colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color Guard, dismiss. Please be seated.
And at this time, it would be an honor to call up my good friend and our council president, Myrtle Cole, to introduce several of the special guests who have joined us here today.
First, I have to say good afternoon and welcome. I'm not going to say to the best district in the city of San Diego. I'm not going to say that, but welcome. It is my honor and privilege to introduce our special guest. First, from U.S. Congress, Susan Davis, who will be joining us shortly once her plane lands. It hasn't landed yet, but she will be joining us, but her husband is here, so please, give me a wave, give me a stand. Thank you. International officials, Marcella Celorio. Marcella, just thank you. Yes, please stand and just wave. Give us a wave. State officials, Betty Yee. Thank you. And Fiona Ma. Fiona. Our state senators, Jerry Hill, Josh Newman, Ben Hueso, Bill Dodd, Anthony Portantino, State Assembly, Brian Mainsheim, Todd Gloria, Dr. Shirley Weber, Lorena Gonzalez Fletcher, Ed Chow, Ed, thank you, Chris Holden, and the council president of the 4th Council District, me. Thank you. Barbara Bree, Chris Ward, our city attorney, Mara Elliott, Whitney Benzian, Jewel Edson, Lisa Heebner, I got you, Lisa, Chris Orlando, Alejandro Sotelo Solis, county officials, William Gore, or Bill as we know him, Bill, Dan McAllister, Summer Steffen, Greg Cox, San Diego Superior Court judges, Peter Detta, Paula Rosenstein, Paula, board members, David Watson, and Nora Vargas. It says other, but it's a U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Yancey Lindsay. Former elected officials, Barbara Boxer. Stay standing, Chris. Christine Kehoe. Denise Moreno Ducheney. Nathan Fletcher. Dick Murphy. Lee Haidu? Lee? Jim Adaffer? Harry Mathis? Cody Campbell? Cody Campbell? Bonnie Dumanis? Bonnie Dumanis? Mitz Lee? Brian Jones. And I have Senator Kamala Harris. I have that highlighted. Kamala? Okay, she's on the plane. She's still on the plane. And Lori Holt Filer. Thank you so much. Lori Holt Filer. you all, and thank you for being in the best district in the city of San Diego. Thank you.
Always have the hardest job, right? So this time, it's an honor to welcome Brisa Johnson to the stage, who's prepared a special performance of Michael Jackson's song Man in the Mirror and Sam Cooke's Change Gonna Come.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the color on my favorite winter coat, the wind is blowing my mind. See the kids in school, not enough to eat, reminds me I'm pretending not to see their needs. A summer's disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know how something with the woman in the mirror, and I'm asking her to change the way. Said now nothing could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the changes. Da 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 da. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there was some with no home, not living alone. Could it be really me pretending not to see their need? A willow deeply sky, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the woman in the mirror, and I'm asking her to change the way. Said now message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. I'm starting with the woman in the mirror, and I'm asking her to change her ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Na 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 na. Ooh, na 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 na. I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gon' come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid I know the change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. I've gone to the movies and I've gone downtown. Somebody keep telling me, girl, don't you come around. It's been a long, long, long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh, there's been times that I wished I couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, the change is here, the change is here. It's been a long time coming, but I know change is gonna come. Oh, I know change is gonna come, yeah. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change has come.
One more round of applause for Lisa Johnson. That's fantastic. It's now my pleasure to introduce some of the folks who are going to come up and talk about the character and the accomplishments of Toni Atkins. So with us today we have the Honorable Christine Kehoe, former state senator, excuse me, Mr. Doug Moore, Executive Director of United Domestic Workers Local 3930 and International Vice President of AFSCME, the Honorable Len Huesa, Senator of the 40th District, and the Honorable Dr. Shirley Weber, Assembly Member for the 79th District. And this time, it's my privilege to call Chris Kehoe to the microphone.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am thrilled to be here with you and to celebrate this extraordinary accomplishment by our own Senator Toni Atkins. I can't tell you, my heart is filled with pride that you have done this, and we're all here to celebrate your election as Senate President pro tempore of the State Senate. This is an extraordinary honor for Toni to be chosen unanimously by her colleagues to lead the Senate. She's the first San Diegan since Coronado Senator Jim Mills led the Senate during the 1970s. Moreover, Toni is the first woman and the first lesbian to be elected to this important post. How far we've come, huh? Toni is the first legislator to be elected both Speaker of the Assembly and President of the Senate since the 1800s. So if you want to go back that far, she has a rival. But if you 20th century, 21st century, Toni has broken those records. These are landmark accomplishments. And to many of us who know Toni so well, it's not surprising that she's achieved so much in her public service thus far. Here in her hometown, Toni is regarded with affection and admiration, so we understand that her colleagues made the right choice. Toni's accomplishments reveal so much about Toni herself, her tireless work on behalf of her constituents, her remarkable ability to bring people together even in times of controversy, her core belief in the ability to bring positive change to San Diego and to California through her public service. We know she is gracious under pressure and deeply thoughtful about her responsibilities as a public servant and a leader. For the last 25 years, all of Toni's virtues have been visible to us. I am very, very proud to call Toni my friend and to tell you that our work together over the last 25 years, the last quarter century, I can hardly believe it, has been as meaningful, challenging, and exciting, sometimes frightening, as it could possibly have been. Toni generously gives me credit for being her mentor at times, and it's true that our time together at the City Council included some of our best years. But as I always tell people, mentoring is a two-way street. And thanks to her judgment, hard work, tact, and diligence, I learned as much from Toni Atkins as she has ever learned from me. I am truly thrilled, along with all of us here, to witness one of our own, Toni Atkins, rising to the very top of California's leadership. Working together, she has brought us this far, and we will go farther yet again under her leadership. We're ready to support you every way possible. Tell us, show us the way, and we'll be with you 100% as we have been over those last 25 years. So San Diego, let's hear it for Toni Atkins one more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, my privilege to introduce Mr. Doug Moore.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Congratulations, Toni. UDW's in the house back there to support you. I'm Doug Moore, the Executive Director of ASME UDW Local 3930, and we are so proud to have Toni Atkins sworn in as President Pro Tem of the California State Senate. She has been an ally to us and to all working families in this state. Toni has a 100% rating on the UDW Legislative Scorecard, and we know she will continue to champion our issues. But UDW members are getting more than a consistent vote with Toni Atkins. As Pro Tem, we're getting representation, which is very important in Sacramento. Now, my union is made up of 100,000 home care workers. Like most domestic workers, we are by majority women of color. Our members have lived their lives in a world run by straight white men. It's a world that hasn't always done right by us. We care for low-income seniors and people with disabilities in their homes so they can live in the comfort of dignity and respect. And there's probably no job a person can do that is more important than that. But there's also almost no job that's paid less than domestic work. And it's no accident that domestic work is low paid, sisters and brothers. And it's also no accident that domestic workers have historically been exempted from many of the labor rights that most Americans enjoy today. When the National Labor Relations Act was passed in 1935, domestic work was done mostly by African Americans and immigrants. And to appease racists during that time, domestic workers and farm workers were excluded from the important collective bargaining, overtime, and other protections of the New Deal law. This is the kind of inequality we get when we are not represented. Now, UDW members can tell you that representation matters. As you know, Toni Atkins will be the first woman and first openly gay lawmaker to lead the state Senate. And as Californians, we are so proud to support Toni and to be part of this historic progress toward a more inclusive world. And as domestic workers, we are excited for this more inclusive world to shine a light on the struggles of people of color, people living in poverty, women, the LGBTQI people, people experiencing homelessness, seniors, people with disabilities, and all the rest of us who will look to Toni's leadership and her example to lift us up. You know, it really makes a difference when our leaders look like us, work like us, and love like us. It makes a big difference. And that's Toni Atkins. And Toni Atkins will make a difference as our new pro tem. And we are proud to support Toni and work with her on the critical issues of justice and equality that reflect our shared values. Thank you so much.
And next, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Honorable Ben Weso.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? This is a wonderful day, and we all should be very, very happy here in San Diego for this wonderful accomplishment. We should also be very grateful to Toni Atkins for stepping up to this important role. There is no doubt in my mind that history will most certainly take an interest in the work of Toni Atkins. In particular, they'll want to know about this incredible person that everywhere she has gone, she has obtained the support of her colleagues to be either mayor of the city or speaker of the assembly or pro tem of the Senate. It's just only very few people possess the characteristics and the personal qualities that will really get that kind of support among a very talented bunch of legislators in the state of California. 120 people that are just so gifted and educated and prepared, and Toni Atkins rises to the top everywhere she goes. As soon as she came to the Senate, I said she will be the next pro tem. It was very clear in my mind. And because I know her and I've worked with her for many years. And this says a lot about who she is. And I'm very proud to be in this group. The San Diego delegation in particular, I'm very proud of. All the members that we have are very, very talented, and they have gone to Sacramento with the objective of getting the highest leadership post possible, to bring more to San Diego, to do more for California, to get our fair share of the tax dollars, but also to bring our wonderful ideas here in San Diego that's made San Diego such a great place to the rest of the state of California. Our delegation is made up of leaders that have become the leaders of the state. Todd Gloria is the majority whip. Lorena Gonzalez is the appropriations chair, very powerful position. Shirley Weber, very powerful budget chairman. Brian Mainshine also has been one of the only Republicans in the state of California to chair a committee. That says a lot about him as well. And he's been he's been a member that's been very united with our delegation as well. So, and I know Brian is here as well tonight. But you know, I want to also mention that diversity makes California strong. We are strong because of the diversity of our people, and in particular, immigrants are part of that diversity. I want to remind people that Toni Atkins is an immigrant to our state. And it's been a long time since we've had a pro tem that's been an immigrant. So in particular, she's going to bring that unique perspective to leadership that I think we really need, especially in these trying times. But as the chairman of the Latino Caucus of the state of California, I also want to speak to one thing in particular. Toni Atkins supports the Latino community. She has always supported. She has also always supported the work of the Latino Caucus. She's always supported our priority bills, but she's also always supported keeping the caucus strong and influential. And for that, I will always be grateful to her, and I know that she's going to continue to support the Latino caucus, right, Toni? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today's a wonderful day, and we all should be very excited. And thank you very much for letting me speak a little bit on behalf of my friend. And by the way, welcome to my district.
Thank you, Senator. So having been to a few events with our next speaker, I just want to ask the room, are you ready for Dr. Shirley Weber? At this time, it's my honor to call up Assembly Member Dr. Shirley Weber.
Well, welcome to the 79th Assembly District. I want to thank Toni for the opportunity to say a few words concerning this moment and concerning her. And I can tell you, it has, I've thought a lot about this ever since she asked me to say something. And it's hard being last because everything's been said. And so it's hard to come up with new things when you've had someone who's like Toni, who's been so honored in so many ways. And we all know her personally, we all know her professionally. We know she's smart and brilliant and hardworking and diligent and all those kinds of things. And at first I was going to read a poem. I was going to tell you that pretty women wonder where her secret lies. She's not cute or built a suit of fashion model size. But when she starts to tell them, they think she's telling lies. She says, in the reach of my arms, span my hips, stride my steps, and the curl in my lips, because I'm a woman. Phenomenal woman, that's her. But I thought, no, I ain't going to read you that poem. You've heard that too many times before. So when I began to ask myself, what am I going to say? They've given me 2 to 3 minutes to tell you about this phenomenal woman who has done so much for so many. And I wanted to tell you something that you would remember. And so, you know, in the black community, everybody has a nickname. And I'm going to call her CC for today, and you'll understand why at the end of this story. Toni had one Monday morning when we were getting ready to go to the Capitol. Toni came in, and we were at the airport, and I said, how'd your morning go? She goes, oh, let me tell you what happened. So she tells me this story, that she's walking her dog in the neighborhood where she lives. And she, you know, Toni's been going to a trainer, so she's really sharp and fast and looking good. So she's going down the street with her dog. And she passes a woman who's a little bit older and much more frail than Toni and walking kind of slow, but this woman also has her dog. And so Toni doesn't even remember. She's trying to remember the story now. But anyway, so she's walking on. But I remember the story because it was so much like her. So she's walking, and all of a sudden, as she passes the woman and goes ahead, she hears this woman later on scream. And when she gets ready to turn to see what's happening, what runs by her is a coyote with this woman's dog in his mouth. And my speaker chases this dog, this coyote. And she's beating her stick, and she's doing her thing, and she's running after this coyote. And the coyote realizes he is no competition. So he drops the dog and runs off into the canyon. And Toni saves this dog. And so, you know, I call her the coyote chaser, the CC. And let me tell you why. Because when I think about this story over and over, first of all, I said to her, if you had caught it, what were you going to do? She said she hadn't thought that far down the road. She probably would have said, oh, did you drop your pen? But I mean, no. So she says, I don't really know. But she went after that, and she rescued this dog. And what it really says to me, more than anything, as I thought about the story, is that what does a coyote do? A coyote preys on that which is weak, preys on the frail, preys on those who can't defend themselves. You see, that coyote would have never attacked my dog, Hannibal, who's a 150-pound Rottweiler. He never would have got close to Hannibal, okay? But he preyed on the fact that this woman was frail, the dog was small, And he knew this woman could never catch him. But he didn't know that Toni was there. And so she rescued this dog. But when I think about it, I say, you know, coyotes prey on the weak, the vulnerable, those who are often unable to defend themselves. And that's who Toni is. She is a coyote chaser. She is a person who not only knows what has been in the mouth of the coyote herself, the coyotes of poverty, the coyotes of want, the coyotes of need, the coyotes of limited opportunity, the coyotes without scholarships, without opportunity to grow and to develop. Those coyotes eat the vulnerable and the weak. And so she understands that. But she also understands what it's like to be rescued from a coyote, to be given that scholarship, to be given that chance, to be given that opportunity, to be encouraged by her parents and others who rescued her from the mouth of the coyote. And so when you think about this woman who at that time was the second most powerful person in the state, chasing a coyote in San Diego to rescue a dog, you understand why I think she will be the most fantastic president pro tem we've ever had. Because she not only understands and sees it from the perspective of sympathy, but she understands it from empathy. And that is a much more powerful tool for someone to try to help and to bring change to those most in need in California. And so I am proud to say to you today that congratulations to the coyote chaser, the president pro tem of the Senate. We are fortunate in California to have a woman who is prepared to basically rescue all of us from the coyotes of the world. Thank you so much.
Wow. You just told me about 20 minutes ago you didn't know what you were going to say. That was amazing and perfect. So at this time, it is a great honor to call several people to the stage. First, for the oath of office that will be administered by Honorable Paula Rosenstein, Judge of the San Diego Superior Court. Max and Chase Mattis Gleason and Ryland Whittington, who will hold the California Constitution. And Toni's real best friend and spouse, Jennifer Lassar, to join Pro Tem Toni Atkins on the stage.
I just want to say that I really don't like following Dr. Weber, and I'm so glad I have a script. Can't expect any more. Hi. Hi, Paul. How you doing? Good. It's pretty cool. Toni, will you please raise your right hand and state after me? I, Toni G. Atkins,
I, Toni G. Atkins,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the great state of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
that I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to
and
the Constitution of the United States and the great state of California.
What do I say? I don't know.
I've done it a few times.
Yes, I know. I could do longer phrasing. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Oh, that's so mean. That I take this obligation freely without purpose of evasion or any mental reservation.
Let's do it again. We got to get it right. that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Right. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll take that. Thank you. Thank you. You might look at them. The names are
Good job.
Wow, what an incredible. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. What an incredible sight you are. You know, before I start, let me say, Dr. Weber, I'm going to be careful what I tell you on Monday mornings. And there is a reason you're always last. Nobody wants to follow you, including me, but I will give it a try. You know, first let me start by saying thank you, Mark. Where did you go? There you are. Thank you, Mark. I'm so grateful to you for being our MC today. I asked Mark to participate before I zeroed in on what I wanted to talk about today. And as it turned out, he was the perfect choice. And that's because I'm going to talk about San Diego. And Mark Cafferty and his team at the San Diego Regional Economic Development Corporation play such a crucial role in growing our economy and improving our quality of life. So Mark, to you and the entire team at EDC, thank you. This is an incredible turnout. I want to thank you for taking time on a Friday afternoon to celebrate San Diego along with me. That is what today is all about, a celebration of our city and our region. I might be the one making the speech or the one with the big fancy mouthful of a new title that no one, including me, can say. But what I do on behalf of San Diego, and this is certainly about all of us. I want to pause and thank Senator Hueso, Assemblymember Weber, Doug Moore, and my friend Christine Kehoe. Their words were so kind, but each of you is a dear friend, and each of you inspire me. I also want to thank our great pastor, Dan Koshow, for the invocation, our Girl Scouts who are here with us today, as well as Reality Changers, and Brisa Johnson for her beautiful, beautiful music. I want to add my thanks to my colleagues in the Senate and the Assembly who've joined us today. You've already lived through this once, I'm so sorry, but thank you for being here. And of course, it's important that I acknowledge and thank my incredible staff. My district staff that most of you know, Dave, Deanna, Jason, Chevelle, Toni, Ryan, and Doug. My Sacramento staff and a number of people from Sacramento who were able to join us today to help support this event. Our Senate Sergeant of Arms, Jody Barnett, and his incredible hardworking team. Kelly Marussia and her team. And especially the two talented individuals who lead both of my offices, Mirna Sembrano and my Chief of Staff, Nick Hardiman. You're all incredible. And of course, to my spouse, Jennifer Lassar, I wouldn't be who I am without you. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Jennifer. I should quickly add a thanks to her staff who provided us all, well, some of us, not all of you, your food comes after, who provided us with some lunch today and space where we could get prepared. So thank your incredible staff who are here today too. You know, on March 21st, I had the honor of being sworn in as the 48th President Pro Tempore of the California Senate, the first pro tem from San Diego County since Jim Mills led the Senate almost 40 years ago. And while I want to focus on something different in my remarks today, I must acknowledge a couple of important points that I touched on in my speech last month. With my swearing in, California made history in two ways. A woman and a member of the LGBTQI community is leading the Senate for the first time. So, of course, I cannot help but feel immense pride personally, but both for women and the LGBTQI community. I am really humbled, and the real significance is not lost on me. It is an incredible honor. I am mindful, and I cannot forget that. It's about women, all girls, and the entire LGBTQI community. It's about the persistent women, lesbians, gay men, transgender, and gender nonconforming people who have never given up and who never will give up, who continue to fight for a seat at the table, for equality and justice, for respect and dignity, for the opportunity to participate and, yes, even lead. I have the privilege of that opportunity, but only because of so many tenacious people who have fought so hard for so long. It's only because I'm standing on their shoulders that I'm able to even have this chance to lead. People might have expected someone from San Francisco to be the first LGBTQI pro tem, and that's fine. San Francisco has been a crucial battlefield in the fight for equality. We know that. But we know how great San Diego has been at nurturing and elevating LGBTQ leaders. Christine Kehoe, Todd Gloria, Chris Ward, Georgette Gomez, Bonnie Dumanis, Kevin Beiser, David Rubin, and of course the Honorable Paula Rosenstein, who administered my oath of office today. But on and on and on. They weren't the only ones. It's an impressive list. And how about the women from San Diego who've gone on to be influential state leaders at the state level? Lynn Shank, Lucy Calais, Dee Dee Alpert, Susan Davis, Denise Moreno-Ducheney, Christine Kehoe, Lori Saldana, Dr. Shirley Weber, Lorena Gonzalez-Fletcher, Mary Salas, and on and on and on. And here, let me just give a special welcome to former U.S. Senator Barbara Boxer. Barbara, we in San Diego consider you an honorary San Diegan. You represented us so well. San Diego lifts women leaders. San Diego lifts LGBTQI leaders. And let's also acknowledge Dr. Weber as the first African American elected to the legislature from south of Los Angeles. And of course, Myrtle Cole, Madam City Council President, I want to thank you for being here today. Now, these are some of the ways in which the San Diego story is the California story. And that is what I want to talk about today. All of the ways that San Diego is a microcosm of what makes California great. So settle in. This speech could be roughly about 3 hours long. We have some snacks in the back if you get hungry, but don't stray too far because this is really good stuff. I want to challenge you to think of the best that our state has to offer, California's greatest hits, and tell me that San Diego doesn't touch each and every one of them in profound and significant ways. San Diego might be 500 miles from the state capital, but it's the center of its achievements. We can start with the weather. And it's true. You know it. And our amazing coastline with its beautiful beaches, and our bays, and our backcountry with our mountains and our deserts. We truly are an environmental, ecological, and recreational paradise. And that creates opportunities for our tourism industry. Now, I don't mean to suggest our environment sets our tourism sector on autopilot, far from it. San Diego is a world-class destination thanks to the talent and the creativity of our tourism marketeers and the hard work and warm hospitality of our hotels and our iconic attractions. In 2017, there were 35 million visitors to San Diego, who spent a combined $10.8 billion at thousands of San Diego businesses. And believe it or not, that's not all due to Comic-Con, which I might add is one of North America's largest pop culture conventions, thanks in large part to our San Diego Convention Center. And how about culture and fine arts? We don't get the credit that we deserve. That national landmark we call Balboa Park with its 17 museums is 1,200 acres worth of greatness. And by the way, that's nearly 50% larger than Central Park in New York City. I told you were going to love this. Meanwhile, the San Diego Symphony, with 82 full-time musicians and more than 140 concerts a year, is now the Tier 1 category as ranked by the League of American Orchestras. Not to mention our world-class theater scene. Oh, you can clap for that, I'll wait. Not to mention our world-class theater scene, anchored by the renowned La Jolla Playhouse and the Old Globe Theater. And our state doesn't succeed without high-quality universities. California's master plan for higher education is still the blueprint for how to create a tiered system of research institutions, state universities, and community colleges. Led by UCSD, SDSU, USD, Point Loma Nazarene, our universities, and our community college system are a major part of our success. USD, by the way, enrolls and graduates the most women STEM students of any school in the country. One in 3 female students at UCSD is a STEM major. California is a place where people chart their own course and determine their own destiny, and San Diego is the land of entrepreneurs and innovators. Now, last fall, in one of his shows, John Oliver poked fun at elected officials for saying again and again and again that small business is the backbone of our economy. Well, thank goodness he didn't have a clip of me, not that he would, saying it, because I'm incredibly guilty of that too. But it's not pandering, it's true, factual statement. Small business is the backbone of the California economy, and 98% of firms in San Diego are small businesses that employ fewer than 100 workers and almost 60% of our region's total workforce. Our innovation economy includes roughly 6,630 companies and supports more than 150,000 jobs. That is the second most patent-intense region in the United States. That's us. Our biotech and pharma industry alone employs more than 27,000 people in high-paying jobs. We are the #2 genomics market in the nation. San Diego is at the epicenter of changing the way healthcare is approached. And one of my favorite programs to talk about, Mark, I'm sorry, I'll do it again, is the California Competes tax credit. Since 2014, roughly 150 San Diego County companies have received tax credits to create new jobs. And that's almost identical to the number of Los Angeles County businesses that have received credits. And LA County is more than 3 times our size. I'd say San Diego competes. California has always been a key stronghold for national defense, and San Diego is home to the largest concentration of military in the world. In 2017, San Diego received $9.4 billion in defense contracts, going to more than 5,600 contractor firms supporting more than 62,000 jobs. Now, defense is no stranger to our innovation economy. With advancements in unmanned systems, cybersecurity, and advanced aircraft manufacturing, San Diego is leading in locally developed defense technologies. You can clap for that, right, Admiral? Now, California is also the nation's breadbasket, and the San Diego region does its part with 251,000 acres of land dedicated to agriculture. Now, I want to see a show of hands. Who knew that? Okay. Okay, you've just learned something. You can consider it done. We're number 9 in the nation in strawberries, number 5 in lemons, number 3 in honey, number 1 in nursery crops, and number 1 in avocados. Now, I have been told that avocados are a very important dietary staple for millennials. So when it comes to keeping millennials satisfied, San Diego is tops. I'm especially proud of how San Diego has embraced its role as part of a vibrant, exciting cross-border region. And why wouldn't we? Mexico is San Diego's and California's largest trading partner. And our two countries have so much to offer each other when it comes to the cultural and culinary arts. In my own neighborhood of South Park, there's a cross-border project called Barrios Hermanos, Brother Neighborhoods, right, Ben? A collective that promotes cultural and business connections between Tijuana and San Diego. The possibilities for cross-border cooperation are downright thrilling. And that's why California and San Diego are all about building bridges to connect with Mexico and the United States together, not walls to separate us from our friends, our allies, and our neighbors to the south. You know, San Diego's home to the busiest land port of entry in the Western Hemisphere, with more than 32 million people crossing the San Ysidro port of entry every year. The Cross-Border Express, or CBX, allows San Diegans and visitors to conveniently cross the border right into or out of the Tijuana International Airport. In 2017, the CBX welcomed 1.9 million travelers. And speaking of airports, 11 million air passengers arrived at the San Diego International Airport this past year. California's beating heart, though, is ethnic diversity. San Diego is a majority-minority region. That means no single ethnic or racial group makes up more than half of the population. Students enrolled in the San Diego Unified School District, just one of our districts, come from 162 different countries. We are a welcoming city. Can you tell that I'm proud to represent this amazing area? Our delegation is proud. And don't think I can't keep going. Trust me, they cut the speech. How much time do you have? We can add it all back in. No, don't worry, don't worry. I think I've made my point, but I'll repeat it. The San Diego story is the California story. And as leader of the state Senate, I'm in a great position to tell that story. And I love to tell this story. I can make sure to remind everyone in the Capitol, every chance I get, that Los Angeles is not the state's southern border. I didn't know a few LA legislators would be here, but they're friendly people, they'll understand. I can get help in terms of the people in this room when we want to get San Diegans appointed to boards and commissions that influence policies that affect the everyday lives of all Californians. So trust me, I'll regularly be talking to community groups in San Diego and other parts of the state about applying for these seats. Of course, we know it's not all roses, unicorns, and craft beer here. Another way the San Diego story is the California story is that we share many of the same challenges. It's far too expensive to live in our region. We need far more housing for our middle class and struggling residents. The humanitarian tragedy of homelessness is playing out right now on our streets, in our shelters, and along our riverbed. With sea level rise, climate change poses a genuine threat to California, and if we don't keep it at bay, and that pun was definitely intended, San Diego will experience its wrath. Our military bases, our port, our tourism sector, our coastal communities, it's all too important to California to not let up that fight. The good news is that some of the most vital climate change research is being done where? Right up the hill in La Jolla. And yes, we have our challenges, but if there's any place in California that I would bet on to lead the way forward, it is San Diego. We have the people, the brains, and the creativity. All we need to do is work together and harness and focus the qualities that make our region so great. And speaking of working together, I want to acknowledge our incredible and growing labor movement. Labor, oh wait. As you heard earlier, labor is a major part of the fight to close the gap between rich and poor and to strengthen the middle class. Many of the leaders of our labor movement are here today. I want to congratulate you for the victories you've achieved in terms of organizing, winning at the ballot box, and ensuring more projects are built with union workers. I want to thank you for standing up for the working class people of San Diego. You know, like most San Diegans, I am, when it comes to San Diego and California, an internal optimist. I will always believe that anything wrong with California can be solved by what's right with California. Something you learn as a Padre fan. We might lose a game here or there, but tomorrow's another day, another opportunity. Am I right? I grew up here in a